I'm Matt Ward, and this is the People's Orchestra and Show Choir podcast. As usual, we'll be informing you about what's happening now and looking ahead to what's coming up for TPO and TPSC. In this episode, we have two in-depth interviews for you. I spoke with Chris Webber as he was about to set off on the Scottish Highlands Tour to share how the planning all went. And Matthew Whitehouse gave us a look at what really goes into being our librarian, and how his role is not only about getting sheet music out to over 1,000 members. All of that to come after a little taste of some of the music from the Scottish Highlands Tour. Absolutely brilliant. Now, before we get into the interview with Chris, let's hear from him for our regular feature, The
word of the month is Scherzando. It is a word that means to perform playfully or to play in a joking, light-hearted or happy manner. It is used as a direction in music to indicate style and tempo simultaneously. A scherzando can also refer to a musical composition with a playful, childlike character. Musical
And as I said, Chris is staying with us now, as I spoke to him back in May about prepping for the Scottish Highlands Tour. From the early planning stages to that final performance, he's here to take us behind the scenes from one of our most ambitious musical adventures. So Chris, hi.
Hi Matt, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. So how did the idea for the Scottish Highlands Tour come about?
So, as you remember, last year we did a tour to Poland, and we were originally going to go to Barcelona this summer. That was the original plan, but because of all the troubles that there were over there with tourists and them not liking tourists coming over, we were looking for somewhere else to go. And we'd set up the Black Isle Choir, which is up in Inverness. We were also quite conscious of the fact that because they're so far away from us, because we're quite Midland-centric as an organisation, we wanted to do something where we could include them, go and be with them, and share an experience with them to really make them feel like they were part of the TPO family.
Yeah.
So that's where the idea then came from, to rather than going abroad, just to go up north.
So it's a bit like the Scots playing on home ground then.
Yeah, just like that.
So how did it feel seeing everybody come together for that huge rehearsal in Chamberlain Square?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We did the same thing last year before the Poland tour, so we knew it was going to work. It was obviously weather dependent, and thankfully it didn't rain, although it was quite chilly for May. But it was brilliant. We didn't have everybody there because our Shrewsbury choir were doing their own local performance at the same time, so we were probably missing about 20 people. But nevertheless, it was absolutely fantastic, and it was. It's really important because it's the first time that we put everything together. Because when we prepare for the tour, we don't ask choir leaders to give up any of their rehearsal time, their weekly rehearsal time, to prepare this stuff. So the choir members are expected, they're given the resources, they're asked to learn it themselves, and the orchestra and the band, and it's the first time that it comes together. And yes, there's always a bit of anxiety at the beginning, because you think to yourself, how is this going to sound with everybody never rehearsed before together, all coming together? But there's, as it turns out, like every single time, there's never any need for anxiety, because people they're good musicians, they're great people, and it all just always comes together.
Yeah, cool. So in the planning, were there any unexpected moments or things that didn't go quite to plan, or surprise highlights?
Yes, there are always things that don't go to plan. This time it was a little bit more complex, because unlike last year, this time we've included the orchestra. So the orchestra coming along, that has inevitably meant some different challenges. We've had to organise different types of performances when we're up there, but also just producing all the orchestral music. It needed arranging. I believe you've got Matthew on later on in this episode, and he's been the one who's had to arrange all of the orchestral music, which has been a real challenge, because it's only part of the orchestra, so there's about 15 musicians going, and that means that the music has to be completely rearranged in order to work for that selection of instruments, rather than the whole orchestra to fit in around what the choir and the band are doing. So that's been quite a challenge. And then the biggest challenge on the actual day at Chamberlain Square was we were right next door to the Britain First demonstration that was happening in Birmingham at the same time. So we had to be louder than them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. We've got Matthew on later, so yeah, I will be asking him about that. And great that the orchestra are part of this as well. I mean, obviously you've done the concerts with them at Symphony Hall and all of those, and you've taken groups on tour before, as you also mentioned. How do you expect this one to compare to previous tours?
So all the previous tours we've done before have all been choir. So that includes the mini tours that we did last summer to the different places, different towns within the UK, and obviously the Poland one. The Poland tour was very different. Everyone had to make their own way there. So everyone organised their own flights, etc., etc. But this is all done together on one coach journey. So we are literally in each other's pockets 24/7. 10 hours on a coach there, 10 hours on a coach back. Our 2 days up there the itinerary is absolutely packed. We're all in the hotels together. So it's going to be literally like being in the Big Brother house all together with 106 of us for 4 days. And again, because the orchestra are with us this time round, the whole dynamic will be very different. So last year, all our performances were in outdoor spaces, which kind of didn't really matter, how many people came to watch. This time round, we're doing a really big concert in Inverness Cathedral, and we've been selling tickets. So we were always conscious about whether we'd be playing to an audience or not, because as soon as you're doing something with tickets, that there's always that element of unknown, and nobody wants to perform to 5 people, for example. As it turns out, we've sold 200 tickets, so the audience will be amazing, and we're really looking forward to that concert. And then the 2 potential outdoor concert performances in Ullapool on the following day. They may be indoors as well, depending on the weather. You never know what the Scottish Highlands weather's going to throw at you, but we are prepared. It's like I say, because of the orchestra, we've had to make sure we've had contingency plans. It's very easy if you're in a choir standing outside, it starts raining, everyone just runs for cover. But when you've got an orchestra with a cello and a tuba and big instruments all running for cover, it doesn't work the same. So you have to plan.
It's Scotland as well.
Exactly.
I imagine it being like in that scene in The Living Daylights where they're sliding down the hill on the cello
case. Yeah. Oh, we could recreate that exactly. So that the challenges have been very different, but just as exciting.
Yeah. So, what do you really hope that the members are going to get from this tour?
I think if I was to hope for one thing, it'll be what they experienced last year: the joy and the camaraderie, and the closeness of being in that family together, that musical family together. It's one thing that I've always tried to, when I've been talking to people about, people who say, well, I don't know if the tour's, a tour is for me or not. I've always been trying to tell people that the things that they do like this, like the tours, are so different to the weekly rehearsals. There's a level of bonding. That's the best word for it. There's a level of bonding that happens. It's the same with massed events. It's the same with these tours. There's a level of bonding that you just don't get in a weekly rehearsal. Because of the nature of the sheer amount of time that you're spending together, the fact that you're meeting new people, you're meeting different people from different choirs, different orchestras, just the whole essence of that is absolutely magical. And until you experience that, there's genuinely no words can really describe that. That's what I hope that every member will feel at the end of this tour.
Well, it's working on me. I'm getting FOMO just by you talking about it. So presumably you're making profit from this tour, which will go towards the charitable work done by the organisation.
No, not at all. There's no profit whatsoever. The cost of this tour has literally just covered the cost for the members, the coaches, the hotels, the day trips, etc., etc. There's absolutely zero profit being made from this. So apart
from the bonding and everything, what are you hoping to get out of it?
So what we would like to do as an organisation is we like to leave a legacy, which will then put us in good stead for the future for those areas. So we would like to the footprint that we leave, the musical footprint that we leave in Inverness. We hope that from the 200 people that come to see us in the concert, some will choose to join the choir in the Black Isle that's already there. We have got plans to set up another choir at some point in the near future up in the Highlands as well. So the idea of being able to leave a legacy which people remember us by, and then there's that link when we do something up there that will attract new people to us, new members, which then brings the extra money that feeds our charitable work.
Oh, that's really interesting. It sounds like you're laying groundwork then for the future.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for explaining all of this to us. I really wish I could be there. And while we're all having a lot of fun making music together, there's also a serious side to what we do as a charity. If you're able to support us, even with a small donation, it makes a big difference. Just head to thepeoplesorchestra.com, click the donate button at the top of the page and give what you can. We're incredibly grateful for your support. Now, Matthew Whitehouse is the person who makes sure our singers and players always have the music they need. No easy task when you're supporting over 1,000 members across the country. As a resident librarian and one of our key arrangers, he's here to tell us about what really goes into the role, how he keeps everything running behind the scenes, and why his job is just as much about people as it is about paper. Hi, Matthew.
Hello. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Let's start with the basics. What does a musical librarian actually do?
Well, besides sorting out the music, there's a lot more that goes into it than you'd think. You have arranging music, which is you don't really expect from a music librarian, but it's very much kind of entwined into the whole aspect of the job.
Okay.
A lot of printing, which you might imagine. And then you have usual duties of maintaining an archive, making sure everything's catalogued and organised, ready for when we need the music to be sent out to our choirs and orchestras.
So as you said, you're also responsible for a lot of the musical arrangements we use. How did that become part of your role?
For a long time, I've always loved composing, but before I went into this job, I'd never attempted to do arranging for orchestra and more importantly, choir. That's definitely an uncharted territory for me that I had to explore. So I first came into the company through a Kickstarter program, and my main role was to do arranging for the orchestra.
Right.
And so that's how it all started, really. Mm-hmm. And then once my time with the Kickstarter had ended, I then came back to take the librarian role. And since I had that experience prior to coming into a librarian role, I was versatile to not only sort out the music, but also to take on arrangements or to add parts here and there, to adjust things. So they're connected to give the charity and my role a more kind of stable and versatile sector. Instead of maybe asking external freelancers, I could take some of the weight off. And also, I love doing it anyway. It's not just a kind of side thing that I do. I kind of view them both equally as enjoyable and as much as part of the job as they are.
Oh, that's great. It sounds like you really love it.
Yeah.
So when you're arranging for our choirs and orchestra, you're not only working with a typical setup. We've got amateur singers, we've got Rusty's players, and a very mixed set of instruments. How do you even begin to write or arrange with that in mind?
I think a lot of it comes from advice from Amy, our orchestra manager, who can advise on the playing ability and the singing ability. Well, the singing ability is more so to do with my colleague Chris and other choir leaders who can give insights into what might be a challenge for the singers or might be too easy. So they can influence me and advise me on how to arrange music in which it suits them best.
Right.
A lot of it is also trial and error. So we can take stuff to new arrangements to the orchestra rehearsals, and it doesn't quite work, and things have to be either like adjusted or scrapped and then reformed again. So it's a mixture of everything, really. It's like a collaboration from everyone in order for all of us to work together in order to produce the best kind of arrangements of music for our members. Yeah.
It sounds like there's been a lot of learning along the way to get you to where you are now.
It is quite literally a learning curve, and it doesn't always go right from the get-go. But I think that's a part of the process, and it gives us the ability to get better at understanding our members and their playing ability, and a learning curve is definitely the right words to use.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So we know that you also take care to make the music as accessible as possible, like offering alternative formats or printed colours to support individual needs. Can you talk a bit about how inclusivity factors into your work?
Yeah. So from both members of the choir and the orchestra, some members have different requirements. So we offer music printed on different colours for visual needs. The same goes for lyric sheets. What we offer can be printed in large text or again on different coloured paper. Going back to the lyric sheets, we offer that for people who might not feel comfortable or feel intimidated by reading a score. Some of our members aren't musically trained, so they don't know how to read music, and that might, again, be intimidating for them. So in order to make it more accessible and inclusive for everyone, breaking it down on a lyric sheet gives them the opportunity to be part of the choir, the ensemble, without feeling as if they're lesser than from someone who might have a bit more music knowledge than they do.
Yeah. And do you ever find yourself writing around what isn't there in terms of instrumentation, like adjusting parts on the fly depending on who turns up or which sections are a bit light? I envision flute players playing one note at a time while the fiddler's elbows going up and down, doing overtime.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind of different sounds and different actions that come out of the orchestra. Everyone's doing something different. In terms of adjusting parts, part of our Rusty's ensemble, these ensembles are for people that have just picked up an instrument, or they're not at a standard in which they could possibly join an orchestra. So this is an ensemble which gives them the opportunity to play without kind of judgment or pressure to perform at a high standard.
Yeah.
And we have people in those groups who require parts to be adjusted, or to even in some cases to be extended. So their confidence has grown so much in that ensemble over the time they've been there that they feel like they want to do more than the parts they're given. So it's all about, again, going back to one of your previous questions at the beginning, it's all about learning about the members and their playing styles and abilities, and making music, if it means going back to the drawing board and making a part on like Sibelius or MuseScore, making a part that they really enjoy playing and that they feel comfortable playing. So it all depends on what they need. And going back to the part where you said, changing parts of the orchestra if they're a bit light or if something else needs to happen. We've been experimenting with giving the flautists the violin parts so we can add a different colour.
Right.
It also gives them the opportunity to play something different within the orchestra instead of just their flute part. So we're always experimenting with what we can do and how we can change things up.
Yeah. You have a pretty unique sound then as an orchestra, I presume. And I'd love the Rusty's orchestra idea. In fact, we've got to get Julian Powell back to talk about that, because we promised we would get him back. So what is the most surprising or unexpected part of your job? Something that people probably don't realise goes on behind the scenes?
I think for me, it's probably when we are running up to a concert, things get very hectic. Everyone's running around like a headless chicken trying to get everything in place and make sure everything's ready for the day. And you get people missing music. A lot of equipment has to be accounted for, packing the van,
Right.
putting timpanis in, which is a 4-man job because they weigh a ton. Our Christmas concert last year, we found some tubular bells. We were given some tubular bells to use, and they weighed so incredibly heavy. And it was, I think we had like 6 people lifting these like massive tubular bells into the van. So it's weird things like that in which I think people who attend the concerts and who perform in the concerts don't really think about what happens behind the scenes. But there's a lot of, like I said, running around like headless chickens trying to get it all together. But it's also quite enjoyable despite the stress.
Yeah. Presumably you've got a whole band of volunteers that help you out with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
which is brilliant. I mean, I love the team spirit behind this. And finally, what would you say to someone listening who's a bit of an organiser at heart and might be interested in volunteering?
Well, we actually do have quite a lot of volunteers that come into the office. But with the amount of choir members that we have, I mean, recently we exceeded 1,000, so it's such a massive number of people that, especially within my job, printing and preparing that much music is such a time-consuming task that it's come to the point in which I can't really do it alone now. So we asked some of the members of the choir to come in of a morning till the afternoon to help staple, to prepare the music. And I think it's such a good time for them to come along because they can have a chat, they can get to know people in the office, they're provided with tea and biscuits, so if that doesn't persuade them, then I don't know what will.
Of course. I had a chat with Sandra in one of the episodes, and she was a part of the Staple Squad, and she really enjoyed her time doing that. Yeah,
there's definitely some regulars that come, and we always look forward for them to come and help. It also gives them an opportunity to have a little bit of a sneak peek into the music that's coming, but we do have to tell them to keep it to themselves. We can't have
keep the secrets for you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, look, thanks, Matthew. Thanks for telling us all about your role here. As Matthew's shown, so much of what we do happens behind the scenes, and it wouldn't be possible without the people who are willing to lend a hand. We've got lots of volunteers, but we always need more. So if you're somebody who loves organising, planning, or just being part of a supportive team, we'd love to hear from you. Head to thepeoplesorchestra.com or drop us an email at hello@thepeoplesorchestra.com and find out how you can get involved as a volunteer. Before we sign off, we had a fantastic response last episode to our request for messages about how you benefit from being a member of the People's Orchestra. So we are going to play some more of those now, and this will be a new regular feature that we will call Little Notes from the Heart.
Little notes from the heart. From the heart.
Hello, my name is Jean Jones and I belong to the Shrewsbury branch of the choir. What do I get out of it? My word, I can't even begin to tell you. I was very, very depressed after some family bereavement, and one of the other members, who is a relative of mine, invited me to come along. It's the best thing I ever did because I'm so happy coming here on a Tuesday evening. I haven't been on stage yet but I'm going to pluck up the courage and I'm going to do that as soon as possible. But I thank everybody here because they've been absolutely amazing to welcoming me. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Joanne from Shrewsbury Choir. I just wanted to say how much I love being part of the People's Show Choir and what a massive impact it has had on my mental health. It's been a real struggle in the last 12 months, but being able to come to choir and be among people who lift you up and help you get through things is so empowering.
I started coming to the choir to help my stepson with his confidence, However, they've become like a family to me. I have 2 disabled children and a disabled husband, so I wasn't getting out. I didn't do anything for myself, and I absolutely love it there. They make me feel welcome. They're always there if you need a hand, and it's changed the way I feel about me, and I'm able to be me there and just have fun and sing and do something I love, so thank you.
I would just like to thank you and let you know how beneficial joining your choir has been to me. My experience of becoming a choir member has been a wonderful healing process. I was widowed almost 12 months ago to the date. Not a unique experience, but an awful one for which nothing can truly prepare you. 2 of your existing choir members knew my husband and suggested I join you. The welcome I received was kind and genuinely thoughtful. That was 6 months ago, and I haven't regretted it once. I've made friends, and my confidence is slowly improving. I'm not a wonderful singer, nor do I read music, but I'm learning and laughing in that process. It's no longer daunting, and I really enjoy myself. Thank you so much.
Little notes from the heart. From the heart.
How wonderfully heartwarming. If you would like to share your own little notes from the heart, please record a WhatsApp voice note on the number 07786 629 531, and we will include it in the next episode. Coming up in July, our Shrewsbury and Wolverhampton choirs are starting our concert season off with a wonderful concert on Saturday 28th of June, and with only a handful of rehearsals left until their local summer concerts, the rest of our choirs are working intensely to get their exciting repertoires ready to be performed. If you would like to attend one of our summer concerts, simply go online to eventbrite.co.uk and search for the People's Show Choir to see when and where they are all happening. And it's not just the choirs that are busy getting ready for a packed schedule of summer fun. Our orchestral ensembles have also got a number of really exciting events coming up, including Comic-Con on Saturday 12th of July and the People's Orchestra's Summer Jam Under the Sky in Cannon Hill Park on Sunday 27th of July. Fancy coming to watch? Go to Eventbrite and search for the People's Orchestra for further details. And if you've ever thought about joining us, now's the perfect time. Head to thepeoplesorchestra.com to find out how to sign up for 2 weeks free for the People's Orchestra, one of our 20 show choirs, 4 Rusty Players orchestras, or big band. Thank you for listening to this episode of the People's Orchestra and Show Choir podcast. Visit our website, thepeoplesorchestra.com, and follow the People's Orchestra and the People's Show Choir social media channels. And if you'd like to find out more about how I can help you with making a podcast for your organisation, take a look at my website, audioeditingsecrets.com, and follow my social media, which is Audio Editing Secrets on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. I've been Matt Ward. Thank you for listening.